Okay, everyone, today we are going to talk about what your book calls words and expressions. Okay, so if you don't have your binders out with your vocab notes, go ahead and take those out now. So make sure you have your green divider, your notes divider on the left. Okay, and on the right, of course, should be your notes that you got from me. Your vocabulary notes for chapter 1. Okay, so we actually have 3 vocab words or phrases that we're going to talk about today that goes with this lesson in your book. So the very first phrase is the phrase numerical expressions. Everyone? Okay, numerical expressions, here's what the book says it is. It's a combination of numbers and operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Okay, so expressions basically would be, this is just an easy way to kind of remember it. Expressions are basically it has no equal sign. With an equal sign, it would become an equation, not an expression. So, a numerical expression. So the no equal sign part, of course, you didn't already figure out. It goes in the little box to the right on your vocabulary there. Okay, so the next word is evaluate. Everyone? Okay, so evaluate, here's what your book says it is. It's to find the numerical value of an expression. Okay, so it's not quite a synonym of the word solve, but it's pretty close. It has a very close meaning. Solve, of course, would go to an equation. You solve equations. Expressions you evaluate, okay, or simplify, okay. So evaluate or simplify. So there's what I was just saying, solving an expression. So I guess evaluate would be closer to the word simplify. That's more of a synonym than to solve, but either way, whatever helps you remember the meaning behind that. All right, and then the last phrase is something that you guys have seen probably quite a lot, even in elementary school, and that is order of operations. Everyone? Okay, so with this particular lesson, we're going to have a lot of expressions or numerical expressions that we're going to have to evaluate, right? And it's basically just simplifying a problem that has a number of things to do with it, a number of different operations that's stated up here, as well as, it's, like it says, a combination of different numbers. And so to be able to do it correctly, though, you have to follow the correct order of operations. All right, so you have to do it in the right order. So here we go. These are the rules to follow when more than one operation is used in an expression. Okay, so a little reminder, I'm sure that you already know it, that you could write in the box. PEMDAS, all right, or some people like to say, please excuse my dear Aunt Sally, I've heard of before. And of course, just remember, P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponent, but the multiplication and division it's always done together, left to right, and then the addition and subtraction in the problem is always done together at the same time from left to right. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is to go ahead and take out your book and go ahead and flip your book over to page number 8. Page number 8. And then after you get to page number 8, you're going to want to take out a piece of lined paper for your homework. Okay, don't forget, first and last name up at the top of your paper. Go ahead and put today's date. And then underneath that, go ahead and put your period. And then underneath that, go ahead and put the assignment number or the lesson number. Okay. Also, don't forget to go ahead and put page 8 there as well, page 8. Okay. So, for our examples that I want to do together, let's go ahead and hopefully have your paper already set. We're on page 8 together. Let's go ahead and look at problem number 2. Problem number 2. Okay, so the directions say write a numerical expression for each verbal phrase. Okay, so for most of you, especially because it's just kind of a beginning lesson, it's going to be pretty easy. As a matter of fact, one of my biggest concerns is that it's so easy that it becomes hard. So you're going to overthink something there. So here's what number 2 is. The cost of 1 box of cereal if 4 boxes cost $12. The directions, write a numerical expression for each verbal phrase. So here's what I would say would be steps. There's no really clear-cut steps here, but I would like to say that probably the easiest way to think about this is to have a step 1, and I put a little what looks like a cloud, but I'd like for you to think of it as a brain almost, because I want step 1 to be more mental math, and that is with easier problems like this, before you write an expression, sometimes it's easier just to think on how you would solve it, or just basically solve it and then be aware of how you solved it. So, for example, the cost of 1 box of cereal if 4 boxes cost $12. Okay, so we're looking for the cost of 1 box. So if I want just 1 box, which would be like a unit price, and I would just say, okay, everything is $12. To find out what 1 box is, I would just divide by 4. And that would give us how much each box or 1 box is. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. $3 for 1 box. So I just solved it. All right, that's basic mental math. All right, almost like math facts there. Okay, so now step 2 is you need to take a step back and say, okay, I just solved it. How did I solve it? And so all I did was divide 12 by 4 to get my answer of 3. So many of us could be just set on the answer, but be careful. They want to know how to solve it. You're writing an expression. So all we did is we just said 12 divided by 4. Now, normally in elementary school, right, you would see something like 12 divided by 4, but you're no longer in elementary school. And so at this level, you want to make sure that you're going to want to write things how you're going to see most of them on your test. And so you'll still see this occasionally. As a matter of fact, I think you'll see it in the book in this lesson. But the way that we want you to write this to get you ready for the test and for our state test even is you're going to see a lot of this. You're going to see division expressed as a fraction. In this case, an improper fraction, with the numerator, the top number, being larger than the denominator, which is the smaller number or the bottom number. Okay, so actually that's what it says. Write a numerical expression. It doesn't say to answer it. That's our final answer for this. That's all you're doing. Now, what I just took 2 or 3 minutes to explain to you, maybe longer, I'm hoping will take you just 30 seconds max. Shouldn't be very long. Don't overthink it. All right, so here's the one I want you to try and act. As a matter of fact, I will give you 30 seconds. I want you to go ahead and go to the very next page, page 9. Take a look at problem 17. I'll give you 30 seconds. Go ahead and try out problem number 17 on page 9. Go. Okay, so what I'd like you to do now is to go ahead and turn to your partner Okay, and I'll give you 30 seconds. Go ahead and express your expression. Share your expression with your neighbor. I'll give you 30 seconds to do that. If you disagree, make sure that when you disagree, give reasons. Okay, even using step 1 and step 2, give reasons why you would disagree and why you would think it's something different. So 30 seconds. Go ahead and share number 17. Okay, so number 17, it's not written on this paper, but it does say the number of people left to play if 10 of 15 have already played. So the goal is, of course, is how many people are left that can play. Well, if you have 15 people, 10 have already played. I'm just thinking you only have 5. You have only 5 more players to play. So step 1, right? Just using mental math, I just solved it. You have 5 players left to play. Okay? But the question is, of course, where step 2 comes in is, how exactly did I get that? Well, I have 15 people total, but 10 have already played. So I'm going to subtract, of course, the 10 from the 15. And again, they're not asking for the answer. They're asking for an expression. So I'll leave it as an expression, 15 minus 10. Okay, so here we go. Let's go ahead and let's flip back over to page. Let's flip back over to page 8. And let's take a look at problem number 10. Okay, problem number 10. Okay, number 10 says it's 34 plus 18, but that's the numerator part of what appears to be a fraction here. 27 minus 14. 14 subtracted from 27. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to simplify this. Now, when you have something like this, here's what you're going to do. You're going to start off by step 1, I guess you'd say, is go ahead and simplify both top and bottom. And I am sorry, I forgot to read the directions. That's always important. It says evaluate each expression. So, right, evaluate, we just said, was basically to simplify. So I'm going to go ahead and simplify the top, and then I'm going to simplify the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to use order of operations usually, but obviously I don't need order of operations on this. So 34 plus 18, you can go over to the side and add it like that if you'd like. Make a little bit of scratch paper kind of work. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and just say 8 plus 4 is 12. Carry the 1. And so I have 1 plus 3 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So I end up with 52. And then the same thing here. This is a subtraction problem, so I'm going to simplify this just by saying, okay, well, 2 minus 1 I can do. So I don't, and as well as 7 minus 4. I don't need to do any borrowing. So 7 minus 4 in the 1 spot is 3. Okay, 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay, on this one, step 2 is if you get to where you have an improper fraction, very similar to what we just did up here on the previous problem, is they don't want us to keep it as an expression on this one though. They want us to simplify all the way or evaluate. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to simplify that or evaluate it, and I would do that, of course, if this is division, right? It's if you're going to write it as a division problem, I'm going to go bottom into top, 13 into 52. Okay. So you can do your long double-digit division, you know, covering up the ones and estimating, okay? Or I'm sure a lot of you know this, okay? 52 divided by 13 is 4, and there's our final answer. Okay. So if you have a problem like this, a numerator and a denominator, where you have to evaluate each on top and bottom, you do both of them separately, and then once you get to this point and you just have an integer on top and bottom, you go ahead and simplify that even further by evaluating by dividing. Okay, so, and again, I mean, for those of you that don't know, right, 1 goes into 5. It'd go 5 times, but that's going to be too large. So I'm going to try 4. 4 times 3 gives us 12. 4 times 1 is 4 plus 1 is 5. So that was correct. Okay, so here's what I want you guys to try, one very similar. Go ahead and flip back over to page 9 and try out problem number 26. 26, go. 30 seconds I'm going to give you. Okay, 30 seconds. Go ahead and turn to your neighbor, share what you got, and make sure if you disagree, share your work and see how and why you disagree. Make sure you back it up with following your steps. All right, 30 seconds, go. Okay, so problem number 26. All right, 26 looked a little like this. I'll put a little separation here. All right, so 26 was numerator 28 plus 12, denominator 13 minus 5. Okay, so step 1, of course, simplify both top and bottom like the arrows show. So 8 plus 2 is 10. Carry the 1, right? 2, 3, 4. So 40 is our numerator. The denominator, 13 minus 5. Oh, it's nice math facts. It's 8. All right. And now, step 2, right? We simplify or evaluate, finish evaluating the division part. 40 divided by 8 is 5. And there we go. Not too bad. All right. So here we go. Let's go ahead and go back to page 8. And let's go ahead. On page 8, I'm going to go ahead and do number 8 from page 8. All right, so here what we have. We have a pretty long expression. We have 30. And there is a bracket, which is actually, it works just like parentheses, or it is parentheses. So 20 minus 7 in a regular set of parentheses. And then we're going to add 1 to that, and then the in bracket. Okay. So I'm sure most of you have seen brackets before. However, just where you know, brackets are just parentheses, and most of the time they're switched to brackets where you can tell the difference in the 2 sets of parentheses. Okay, since there's 2 sets. All right, so here we go. On a problem like this, step 1 is you want to do the innermost or the embedded parentheses within the problem. Always start on the inside. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now remember, I'm actually doing order of operations, or PEMDAS, and I'm going to start with the P. That's why I'm doing that first, of course. So embedded parentheses. So 20 minus 7 is 13. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do after that. This is very, very important, and I don't even want to call it step 2. What I usually call it is step star. It's not because it's a step, it's just a reminder. Okay, for when things get really long, you need to have the ability to rewrite. You have good work habits. Rewrite the problem. Stay organized. By the end of this year, I can guarantee you in Advanced Math 7, they're going to be very long problems, and I want you to be organized and and where you don't confuse yourself. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead. I've already simplified what's in parentheses. If I would like, I could bring those parentheses still down. I'm going to bring down my additional 1, the outer brackets, and my 3. Now, it's always a good idea. Step 2, right, is, I'll just write the E this time, exponents. There are no exponents. Okay. Step 3, and you know what? I would say that step 2, even though I said exponents, I would say that we're probably still on step 1 because of these brackets here. So while there still is no exponents, I would say step 1 is still finish up parentheses. So 13 plus 1, because it's such a simple addition problem, I'm going to go ahead and simplify that. Now what we have is besides exponents, we're going to go ahead and do next, of course, multiplication and division. And remember, always rewrite. So I'll bring my 3 down. There are no exponents, multiplication, division, that's all that's left. And why don't we, just for the sake of writing our notes, because this one doesn't have it, but let's go ahead and also have down our addition, subtraction. And again, just follow order of operations. Remember though, these are always left to right. You're doing them together, left to right. Okay. In this particular problem, we don't need that. So we did the innermost parentheses, solved it. We still have one problem to simplify in parentheses. We go ahead and solve that or simplify it. And so now we have 3 times 14. All right. And now all we have is, because these brackets are basically parentheses, we just have a number next to parentheses, which means it's multiplication. So one last calculation to make. So again, you could do it like this if you want to. You can go over to the side, oops, and do a scratch paper type of problem. 4 times 3 is 12. 3 plus 1 is 4. So we end up with 42. And again, guys, on problems like this, follow your order of operations. I still said parentheses, exponents, multiplication, division, addition, subtraction, and of course, don't forget to rewrite. Okay, all of them are a little different. All right, so here's what I'd like you guys to try. Go ahead and flip back over to page 9. Try problem number 24. I'm going to give you guys 1 minute on this one because that's going to be a little bit longer for you to solve. All right, so a minute, go. Okay, so sharing your answer, 30 seconds, go. Okay, for problem number 24, here we go. We have eight brackets 12 in parentheses 12 minus 5 plus 4 in brackets. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and solve this problem. It's almost an identical problem, just different numbers. So here we go. All right, embedded parentheses, all parentheses, right, but embedded first. So 12 minus 5 is 7. Inside of brackets here. Going to rewrite it. And I'm going to keep going inside the parentheses. I have addition now. That's all that there is. Okay, so now I'm done simplifying what's inside parentheses. And rewrite. I just have multiplication. And there is our answer, 88. Okay, so we do have one last type of problem to take a look at. And that is, let's go ahead and take a look at problem number 34. 34. I'm actually running out of room here, so I'm going to flip my example paper over. Number 34. Okay, so I don't have the words, of course, here, but I do have them in front of me. So if you have your book, please read along. It says, Grace has a coupon for $2 off the regular price of each pair of jeans she buys. She buys 4 pairs of jeans with a regular price of $23 each. Okay, so there's our scenario there with some information. Okay, so there's actually on 34, there is A and B. So I'm going to start with A here. The task is write and evaluate an expression to find the total cost of the jeans. Okay, so they want two different things. They want us to write an expression, and they want us to evaluate or simplify that expression. Okay, so here we go. There's really no step-by-step with this, but we do want to remember a couple of things. We want to remember that, I'll put these little reminders here. We want to remember that that the problems on here, especially because of what we've been working with the whole time, is that they're going to have, they're going to be, remember, they're going to be numerical expressions. So they could have various numbers and operations. Okay, so you have to be ready for that. And then another reminder is kind of like what we were talking about when it came to this, is they want us, when we write the expression, we don't want to overthink it. We want to write the expression without simplifying any part of it. All right, so when we do this problem, we're going to do just that. So here we go. It says, Grace has a coupon for $2 off the regular price of each pair of jeans. Okay, and then it goes on and says she buys 4 pairs of jeans with a regular price of $23 each. So it says write and evaluate an expression to find the total cost. So the route I'm going to take is I'm going to talk about, and of course, sorry, I didn't finish this off after we talked about this step, and that is, I'll just write one word. Okay, keep simple. All right, I guess we should write 2 for note purposes. And this is the expressions. Keep them simple. All right, so here we go. One ticket, I'm sorry, 1 pair of jeans is $23. 1 coupon ticket, of course, is $2 off. So, of course, each pair of jeans, $2 off. Now, we're going to be dying to simplify that right now to 21, but it's not asking us to do that, right? Remember, I shouldn't have used the word simple because it sounds like simplify, but we're going to keep this expression simple, meaning we're not going to start solving it as we go along. We'll wait for that. They just want the expression. Now, here's the thing. This is going to give us the price for 1 pair of jeans. However, Grace didn't buy 1 pair. She bought 4 pair. Now, just don't plop out a times 4 here, right? Because this whole expression has to represent 1 pair of jeans. So to be able to keep that expression together, we're going to put parentheses around it, because that value, that $21 we said earlier, that value is for 1 pair. So then, of course, that one pair, then we're going to turn around, and now we multiply that by 4. Okay? This is the expression for if you had a $2 off coupon on every single or each pair of jeans, how much it would be or cost if you bought 4 pairs of jeans. So this is going to be one of our answers here for this problem, okay? Because that's what the question asks for. Now we're going to go ahead and simplify it. So now you can do the 21, and probably most of you can do this in your head, right? We did the parentheses first, and now all we have left is multiplication. A nice, expensive pair of jeans. $84. Okay. Okay, so what I want to remind you is you'll still in your homework still do 34B. I want to just stop it there because I actually want to have you try another one. But 34B is similar, but be careful. There's a couple little minor differences that will change the expression. Okay, so here's what I want to do. All right, for this lesson, I want you to try out. I want you to try out problem number 32. Problem number 32. This might take you a little bit longer. Probably not a lot longer, but a little bit longer. Okay. On this particular case, 32, I want you to do A and B, because believe it or not, 32A and B is just like 34A was. Okay, so 32A and B. I'll give you guys a minute to try that out and see if you can't come up with an answer. Okay, 32A and B, 1 minute, go. Okay, 30 seconds. Go ahead and turn to your neighbors. But when you turn to them, I want you to explain 2 things. I want you to share 2 things. I want you to share A and B. Make sure you share that expression, and then you can share your answer. I know a lot of us are going to want to share our answer right off the bat. Okay, but don't do that. Share both your expression and your answer. So go ahead and turn to your neighbor and share. Go. 30 seconds. Okay, so 32A and B. So 32A says write an expression that can be used to find the total cost of admission for 4 adults, 3 children, and 1 senior. So up above, right, the table shows the prices of admission to the local zoo. So you definitely have to use the little chart off to the side, the little table with next to the little lion there. So here we go. It says we have 4 adults. Now, for just adults, just for those adults, right? Because they're a different price than everyone else, they're going to cost $8. So, of course, you're probably dying to say, oh, it's $32 for adults. Well, yes, but they don't want that yet. It's just the expression, 4 times 8. Now, for the children, okay, there's 3 of them. They cost a total of $5 each. So yes, they would of course be 15, but we're still writing the expression. And then the one senior, all right, the one senior citizen, only one, it's going to cost $4. Now, of course, these are separate expressions that deal with each age group that they have here. However, the whole point was to find the total cost. So before this is all 32A, before we find the total cost, let's show how we would find the total cost. And of course, we'd take and add all those together. So there it is. Now, I know for B we need to solve for that total cost. For B, I know there's parentheses, but remember, the P in the order of operations for parentheses stands for simplifying the expression inside the parentheses. There's no expression inside the parentheses. It's just a number. So what I'm going to do is, they're just, of course, a number right next to the other number. That's multiplication, right? So I do need to still mentally quickly double check. There are nothing to solve inside parentheses. There are no exponents, okay? There is multiplication, no division, right? But all multiplication. I'm going to move left to right. So 4 times 8 is 32. 3 times 5 is 15. And of course, 1 times 4 is 4. Bring down my addition sign. That's the rewriting part, of course. I'm going to go ahead and add all of my numbers in the ones. So it's 2 plus 5 is 7, plus 4 is 11. I'll carry the 1 to the tens. 3, 4, 5. And I want to put my dollar sign on here since it's a word problem. $51 is my answer. Okay, so I believe that covers a majority of course, the little skills that are all within this lesson. So go ahead and get started.